Oh my god, let me tell you about this date. Okay, so first he like picks me up late, like 10 minutes late, but he tells me ahead. It's like traffic. Okay, cool, no problem. So we get to the place where we have planned to go. Guess what? It's fucking closed. Like, no, like there's no one in there. Like, Instagram says it's open, Google says it's open. It's not open. Okay, cool. So then I'm like observing him, like, okay, like how is he gonna handle this? Like, how are we moving? Like, what is this, right? And I see an ice cream spot, right? And so I'm like, oh well, let's get ice cream, right? And so we get ice cream. He gets something, I get something. Of course, he pays. And he's like, okay, well, what about this place? And I'm like, wherever, let's go, right? And the goal was still Italian food, right? So we go ahead and we're like walking back to the car. We see this other Italian restaurant. So he pulls up his phone and he looks at the menu for the Italian restaurant. He's like, what about this? And he's like, but we already have reservations for the other spot. Do you want to do that? And then like we're looking ahead and this homeless guy just like walking around naked. We're on Melrose to just give you guys the vibes. So I'm like, let's go, right? And we're chatting, talking about great conversation, right? I low-key was trauma dumping. He, was like doing like nostalgia. It was a great vibe. We were talking about any and everything and all the things, right? And we get to this place, and this place my friend told me about. And so when I saw it, I was like, we're going to this place. Oh my God. So happy. And so the original plan was to grab some Italian food, then come back, and we're actually watching the show together. So, to finish watching the show together. So after dinner though, he looks at the time and he's all like, I think we're gonna have to like watch the show a different time, but I still want to hang out with you. So we end up driving around, and this is where the nostalgia comes. We go past like his childhood, like his middle school, his high school, like we're driving around LA, right? And we are chopping it up and we are holding hands. And then he's like, okay, now I feel like it's time to take you home. I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, so how we get home, right? And so at this point, we're at like Echo Park. And so I'm like, okay, so I tell him how to get home. It's a couple of lefts, a couple of rights, whatever, right? And I'm thinking he's just gonna like, get me out the car, see you next time. No, not this guy. No, he helps me out the car, walks me to my front door, to my door. So there's 2 doors, 3 if you count my door. Just 2 doors and like 2 flights of stairs. He comes up, we stop right at the door, and we go in for the kiss. Hey. So there was a second date. He Ubered me to another Broken Egg, which is a brunch spot. And then afterwards, we were walking and we saw a farmer's market. He bought me some salsas. And we went to a local park and we were just chit-chatting. We really were getting to know each other. And he Ubered me back home because I did have work later on. Like, I was on the phone talking to him and, like, I'm opening up the IRS letter and, like, he was literally the first person, right? Because I was on the phone with him, and to be like so like trying to make light of the situation, I don't like that. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be a big to do. Like that, like characteristic of his is him. Do I accept it? Do I reject it? Do I, tell him, hey, like when I'm receiving news and I'm upset, like these are your 3 options. One of the options is not to make light of the situation. Is it just like a conversation type of thing? You know what I mean? There's gonna be a third date. He was supposed to come over today. We're supposed to get some Korean food or pho or something like that, and we're gonna finish watching the show that we've been watching together. I'm just gonna go ahead and knock it out myself. But after the conversation of like the IRS and stuff, like he sends me this TikTok, which is just one of those am I an asshole type of questions, and then the podcasters talk about the fucking story or whatever, and you could see me and I'm like 1 word answers and whatnot. And then today, like I'm having to ask him. So I was already feeling some type of way yesterday, and then now like
oh, I'm having to check in on you. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't like that. And then he's like, hey, sorry, I didn't hit you up earlier or all day. Work got really busy, got put into chaos of the day. Can we make check for a different day? Like, nah, I'm good. And then, like, he hasn't called me and we haven't talked. So, I believe that is that.